The night the power went out, I was already awake. It was a little after midnight. I remember because I had just checked the time on my phone. 12:17 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I was sitting on my bed, scrolling aimlessly, listening to the low hum of the city outside my window. Distant traffic, a dog barking somewhere far away, normal sounds. Then, all at once, everything stopped. The lights went out, the fan cut off mid-spin. The hum of electricity vanished like someone had flipped a switch on the world itself. At first, I didn't panic. Power outages happen, especially in summer. I grabbed my phone, using its light to navigate my room, and walked to the window to see how far the outage went. That's when I noticed something strange. The entire neighborhood was dark. No streetlights, no glowing windows, no headlights. The city beyond my street, usually alive even at night, was completely black. It wasn't just my block. It wasn't just my area. It was everything. I stepped back, uneasy, and checked my phone. I still had signal. No emergency alerts, no messages, nothing explaining why the entire city had gone dark. Then I noticed something that didn't make sense. My bedroom light flickered back on. I stared at it, confused. The fan started spinning again. My charger buzzed softly. Power had returned, but only to my house. I rushed back to the window. The street was still pitch black. The houses across from mine were dark. No movement, no light anywhere, except behind me. I felt a chill run through me. I checked the breaker box. Everything was normal. No trip switches, no surge warnings. My phone buzzed. A text from my friend Ryan. Ryan, yo, you awake? I replied immediately. Me. Yeah, power's out here. You good? The typing bubble appeared, then disappeared. A full minute passed before he replied. Ryan, what are you talking about? My power's been out for like 20 minutes. I felt my stomach drop. Me. Mine came back on. Another pause. Ryan, bro, that's not funny. I sent him a photo of my lit room. The timestamp confirmed it was current. He didn't respond. I waited. Then another message came in from a group chat I was in. People were freaking out. Entire city's dark. Anyone else have no power? Emergency services not answering. I typed one message into the chat. Me? Does anyone else have power? No one replied. That's when the silence outside started to bother me. No cars, no sirens, no voices. Even the wind seemed to have stopped. It felt like the city had been frozen in place, paused in time. I stepped outside onto my porch. My house glowed like a lighthouse in the dark. Warm yellow light spilling onto the lawn, surrounded by absolute blackness. The contrast was unsettling. It made my home feel exposed, like it was being highlighted. I scanned the street. Every house was dark, every window empty, no movement, no signs of life. Then I saw it. At the far end of the street, something moved. Not fast, not slow, just enough to notice. A shape stepped briefly into the faint reach of my porch light, then back into the darkness. I squinted, trying to make sense of it. Hello? I called out. My voice sounded too loud, too sharp, no response. I told myself it was just a neighbor, someone checking their fuse box. Someone as confused as I was. But then my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a text. It was an emergency alert. Citywide power failure. Remain indoors. That was all it said. No explanation, no estimated time. Just one more line beneath it. If your residence still has power, do not draw attention to it. I slowly looked back at my glowing house and realized something was very wrong. I didn't turn off the lights. Not at first. I just stood there on the porch, staring at the street, replaying the emergency alert in my head. If your residence still has power, do not draw attention to it. That sentence didn't make sense. Power outages don't come with instructions like that, and they definitely don't single out one house. I stepped back inside and closed the door quietly, like someone might hear it. I locked it, then checked the windows. The light from my living room spilled out through the curtains, cutting bright rectangles into the darkness outside. I closed every curtain in the house. The moment the last one slid shut, the house felt smaller, quieter, like it was holding its breath. I checked my phone again. More messages were coming in now. People weren't just complaining anymore. They were scared. Anyone else hearing knocking? Why are there people standing outside my house? 911 isn't answering. I typed again. Me. Does anyone else have power like me? Still nothing. That's when I heard the first knock. It came from the front door. Soft, slow. 3 taps. I froze. The knock didn't sound urgent. It didn't sound panicked. It sounded polite, like someone trying not to be rude. I stayed perfectly still, staring at the door. The porch light was still on. I hadn't turned that off yet. I could see the faint glow under the door frame. Another knock. This one was louder. "Hello?" a voice said from outside. It sounded normal, calm, male. I know someone's in there. My heart started pounding. I didn't respond. The voice continued. "My phone's dead. Can I come in for a minute?" I crept closer to the door and peeked through the peephole. No one was there. The porch was empty, but the light was still on. I pulled away, my skin crawling. From outside, the voice spoke again. This time, it was closer to the door. "You don't need to be afraid." I backed away slowly. That's when the knocking started again, but not at the front door. At the side of the house, then the back, different rhythms, different locations, like more than one person. I checked my phone. Another emergency alert appeared. Do not answer your door. Do not communicate with unlit residences. My hands were shaking now. I turned off the porch light. The moment I did, the knocking stopped. Complete silence. I stood there for a long time, listening. Then my phone rang. "Ryan," I answered instantly. "Are you okay?" he whispered. "I think so," I said. "Where are you?" "In my room. I haven't moved," he said. "There are people outside my house." My stomach tightened. "What are they doing?" I asked. "They're just standing there," he said. "They don't move. They don't knock. They just look at the house." I swallowed. "Do they talk?" "No," he said. "But they keep turning their heads, like they're listening for something." The call crackled. Ryan's breathing changed. "Hold on," he whispered. One of them just looked up. "Looked up at what?" I asked. "My house," and he said. "At the lights." I felt a cold wave wash over me. "I don't have any lights on," I said slowly. There was a pause. Then Ryan spoke again, his voice barely audible. "That's not what I meant." The call cut off. I stared at my phone, waiting for it to reconnect. It didn't. Another alert appeared. This one wasn't from the city. It didn't have a logo or a source, just plain text. "They can see you when you use power." I looked around my house. Every appliance was still running. Every light. Every glowing indicator. I rushed to the breaker box and shut everything off. The house went dark, instantly. And for the first time since the outage started, I heard movement all around my house. The house had never felt that dark before. Without power, it wasn't just the lights that died. The refrigerator stopped humming. The air conditioner went silent. Even the faint electronic buzz I'd never noticed before vanished. What replaced it was worse. Sound? Footsteps, not inside my house. Outside, all around it. They weren't rushing. They weren't running. Just slow, steady movement across grass, pavement, gravel. The sound of many people walking carefully, as if they were trying not to trip in the dark. I crouched near the living room window and pulled the curtain back just enough to look. My porch light was off now. So was every other light on the street. But I could still see them. Silhouettes, standing in front of houses, some at doors, some at windows, none of them moving. They weren't holding phones. They weren't using flashlights. They were just there. I pulled the curtain closed, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. My phone buzzed again. Another alert. This one didn't look official. No warning tone, no formatting, just text. Power mask's presence darkness reveals it. My stomach turned. I scrolled back through my notifications. The first alert, the second, all of them felt less like warnings and more like instructions. I typed a message to the group chat again. May, turn everything off. Stay inside. Don't answer anyone. This time someone replied. Unknown. Too late. Immediately, another message followed. Unknown. They were already inside. Before I could respond, a scream cut through the night. It came from somewhere down the street. High, panicked, then another. Then silence. No echo, no aftermath. Just quiet. My phone rang again. Not Ryan. An unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. All I heard at first was breathing. Heavy, uneven, then a whisper. They don't like the light, the voice said. Who is this? I asked. The voice ignored the question. It's been happening longer than you think, it continued. The blackout isn't the cause. It's the cover? My skin prickled. What are they? I asked. A pause. Then, we don't know. The line crackled. We only know how to hide. The call ended. Another alert appeared. This one included a map, a city grid. Most of it was dark, but a single dot blinked near the center, my location. The text beneath it read, Power source isolated bait successful. My blood went cold. That's when I understood. My house hadn't kept its power by accident. It had been allowed to. I moved slowly through the house, careful not to make noise. I checked the doors again. Locked, windows shut. Then I heard it. Inside. A soft click, like a light switch being flipped. Somewhere upstairs. I froze. I was sure everything was off. Every breaker, every switch. The sound came again, click, click, like someone testing switches, learning. I backed into the kitchen and grabbed the largest knife I could find. My hands were shaking so badly, I nearly dropped it. Another sound followed. Footsteps, not outside. Above me, slow, curious, exploring. I looked at my phone. One final alert appeared. This one was different, personal. You were not supposed to stay awake. The footsteps stopped, directly over my head. Then something heavy shifted its weight, as if it was standing still, listening, waiting for me to move. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I stood there in the kitchen, gripping the knife, listening to the slow, deliberate footsteps above me. Whoever, or whatever, was upstairs wasn't rushing. It didn't need to. It already knew where I was. My phone vibrated again. No sound. Just the vibration in my hand. Another message. Sleep prevents notice. Awakeness attracts it. My mouth went dry. I finally understood why the alert had said I was the only one awake. People weren't hiding. They were unconscious. I thought back to the messages from earlier. The silence, the sudden stops, the screams that cut off too cleanly. They hadn't been taken. They'd been put back. Asleep. The footsteps moved again, closer to the stairs. I backed into the living room, keeping my eyes on the ceiling, waiting for something to come into view. Then my phone rang. Ryan, I almost didn't answer. When I did, his voice sounded distant, flat. Took me a while, he said. Ryan? I whispered. Are you okay? I fell asleep, he said calmly. That's all they wanted. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? I asked. They don't want everyone, he continued. Just the ones who notice. The line crackled. They don't like being seen. The footsteps reached the top of the stairs. I heard the first step creak. Slowly, Carefully, Ryan's voice lowered. "You should sleep," he said, "before it realizes you know." The call ended. The stair creaked again. I did the only thing I could think of. I ran to my bedroom, slammed the door, and locked it. I shoved my dresser in front of it and collapsed onto the bed, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. The footsteps stopped outside my door. I stared at the ceiling, forcing my breathing to slow. My phone buzzed one last time. "This is your final warning." I didn't fight it. I turned off my phone. I closed my eyes, and I let myself sleep. I woke up to sunlight, birds chirping, cars passing outside. The power was back. My phone was full of messages. People joking about the blackout, complaining about spoiled food, asking if anyone else slept through the whole thing. According to the news, the outage lasted exactly 7 minutes. No reports of injuries, no missing persons, no explanations. I checked my house. Everything was normal. No moved furniture, no open doors, no signs of anyone being inside, except for one thing. On my nightstand, next to my phone, was a note. Just a single line, written in handwriting that looked disturbingly close to my own. "Thank you for cooperating. I don't stay awake late anymore. I don't use my phone after midnight. And when the city goes quiet all at once, I close my eyes. Because now I know the truth. The dark isn't when they come out. It's when they make sure you don't notice."